Hi guys, and welcome back to my latest video. So I wanted to do an update on how breastfeeding is going because we have had quite a bit of more issues since my last video, and I kind of wanted to just do a little follow-up. So Callie is 7 weeks old today, and I mentioned in my last video that she potentially had a lip and a tongue tie, and I wasn't quite sure about, if we were going to do anything about it. I felt kind of like every baby's being diagnosed with a tongue and a lip tie, so I was really skeptical about doing this procedure on her, if at all. And so we ended up getting the consult on that, and we ended up getting her tongue done, a tongue revision done on her tongue tie. She actually ended up having a tongue tie, even though you couldn't really visually see it. It was the function of the tongue that was the issue. And it was a very, very hard decision to make. We actually made a vlog on it, so if you're not following our vlog channel, you can go see that video. But it was very hard to make, and even after the procedure, I still was like, I don't know if I made the right decision. I felt really, really terrible as a mom, very guilty that I put her through something that potentially wasn't even going to benefit us, because the first few days after her procedure were rough. She was leaking milk everywhere, she was clicking, she was sucking in a lot of air, and on top of that she was turning 6 weeks old and was going through a growth spurt and was very fussy, and it was just the combination of everything was very, very tough physically and emotionally on her and on me. But I am feeling a lot better about it now because there have been improvements since the procedure. She's feeding a lot better. I have not had any clogged ducts in about 5 days, which I was getting clogged ducts almost daily beforehand, because she just was not like emptying my boobs all the way when she was feeding. And I didn't really realize that at the time until afterwards. And I was like, oh my gosh, I finally feel like relieved after she's feeding. She also was having a better latch, and on my right side I was having some sucking blisters from her, and those are starting to heal. It's still not perfect yet, but they are starting to improve and get better, which is good. And so I'm glad we did the procedure, and we have our follow-up here in a couple days to see if they think that she's doing better as well, which I think she is. I did follow up with a lactation consultant a couple days ago, and Callie took 6.8 ounces in a feed, which is just like an insane amount. So no wonder why she's grown so fast so quickly. But we also think that she's taking in a lot of milk because her belly's hurting. So recently I've kind of noticed this more, but I believe it's been going on for longer and I just didn't quite realize it. But she's been having lots of kind of TMI, but green slimy stools. And I thought the green was just from her getting too much foremilk, which it could be. But my lactation consultant said she thinks that she's got a sensitivity to something in my diet. So I am currently on day 6, I believe, of cutting out dairy. I'm going to start with that and give it about 2-3 weeks, and then we'll challenge it and I'll eat some dairy and we'll see how she does. And if that's not quite it, or maybe I need to eliminate something else, then I'll go from there. But I am desperate to give her some relief no matter what I have to cut out of my diet, because she is not sleeping super well. She's just grunting a lot. She seems very gassy, very refluxy. She was spitting up a lot. And since cutting out the dairy, it has improved. She's not as colicky. Her spitting up has cut down to about 90%, but she's still having the green slimy stools. She still is getting kind of frustrated when she's feeding, and I just don't know, is that a physical thing? Is that her stomach hurting? Because it's just not all the time. Sometimes she is just totally fine and sometimes she doesn't. Some nights are better than others, and it's just hard to tell, is this like a normal thing for a baby? Because I know babies don't always sleep a lot, so like some babies sleep great, some don't. But she was getting up sometimes every hour to hour and a half throughout the night to feed, which is a bit extreme and very exhausting on both of us, and we just were not getting good sleep. But the other night she had her first 4.5 hour stretch, which is crazy. I know a lot of babies are sleeping a lot longer than that at this point, but that was big for us. But then the next night she was up every 2 hours, so I don't really know. We're figuring out all the kinks. The other update, it's not really on breastfeeding, but bottle feeding. She was taking a bottle okay. Not perfectly, but she would still drink it if we needed to give her one. She's not taking a bottle anymore, and it's not because of necessarily like she just doesn't want to take it or she's refusing because it's not the breast. She's gagging on the nipple. So I believe we need to go back to the chiropractor to get some adjustments done on her palate. We've been 3 times, and the first time they adjusted her palate, somehow, I don't know how it works, but she got her palate adjusted to help, and it did help with the gagging, but now the gagging is back. And so we got to figure it out, because I really need to have that freedom of knowing that she's going to have a bottle for when I go back to work, for when I want to just get out of the house for a little bit. It's very, very stressful on me, and I have a lot of anxiety over it right now, because I feel like I personally can't leave knowing that she's gonna potentially be hungry and not take a bottle. I know a lot of you are probably gonna offer your 2 cents on it, but we have done a lot of research. We've talked to lactation consultants. We've kind of got a game plan. We're gonna be trying different bottles. I'm gonna try having someone else feed her. Jessie tries to feed her, and she still does the same thing. She's even gagging on like our fingers when we try to put her finger in for her to suck. So it's hard to tell. Like, I don't think she's like refusing it because it's just not the breast, or it's me or Jessie giving her the bottle. I think she's refusing it because it's a reflex. If something's bothering you and you stick it in your mouth and you're gagging on it, you're not going to want to take it. So we're trying to gently introduce a bottle without forcing it too much to where she has an aversion against it. So feel free to leave your advice, but that's one thing we're working on. What else is there on breastfeeding? So I do feel like there are improvements after the tongue tie, which is big. But it's just not 100% perfect yet. And I don't know if we'll ever get it to be 100% perfect, but I just want it to be manageable, and I want her to feel that she's full and feel relieved and happy and not have an upset stomach, and get some sleep, and me get some sleep, and all that. So you can probably tell that I'm tired. It is what it is. It's part of being a mom, and I want to make a video on this because I didn't realize how many struggles there are with breastfeeding. Like, you always hear people say, oh, I have a low supply, or my baby's having a hard time latching, but like, there's so much that goes into it, and it's really not a natural thing at all. And you know, maybe the reflexes are natural as far as like babies wanting to suck and root and finding your nipple and stuff like that, but other than that, it is very difficult. I actually talked to my OB about it, and he said that less than 5% of the moms that he sees actually have just perfect, easygoing breastfeeding. Most moms do have issues with breastfeeding, and that's the #1 reason that he ends up prescribing antidepressants, is because moms feel like they're hopeless when they have these breastfeeding struggles, like they're not providing for their baby, which is just really, really sad. And there have been moments where I have felt very just frustrated and upset, but a lot of that stems from me just being really tired and exhausted. The good thing is she's getting plenty of milk. I still have a ton of milk. I'm still working on my oversupply issues, so to speak, which I'm thankful I have enough milk for her and like 16 other babies. No, I'm just kidding, not that much, but I'm thankful I have enough. But I'm also still trying to kind of taper it down a bit, because I cannot, if she's sleeping these longer stretches, I will not be able to sleep these longer stretches with her when I'm just becoming so engorged after like 3 hours. So what I've been doing lately, and I think this is different from my last video, is I've been trying to feed her on one side and then feed her on just that side for like a 3-hour period. So whether she goes 2 hours and needs to be fed again, or she wants to feed every hour, I feed her just on that side.
And a sweet, sweet, cheeky arrival. Woo!
I guess the nap did not
last.
Anyways, and then I switch and feed her on the other side for 3 hours, and it kind of depends. Like, if I feel like she's not really getting enough, like, oh my god,
oh yeah, all your babies, everybody loves you. Oh yeah, mom, let's pump harder.
Ivy, they just want the window, they don't want me.
I know.
Anyways, so I just feed her on, I don't remember where I was at, but basically 3 hours on one side, 3 hours on the other. If for some reason she's like really, really hungry and I keep trying to feed her on one side and she's popping off and like seeming a little frustrated, I will try her on the other side. Also, just as random, this is kind of out of order, but we have tried ripe water, we've tried gas drops. We are trying different positions as far as burping her and, you know, how holding her to help with kind of these colicky symptoms. So we are doing basically what whatever it takes right now. But feel free to leave your advice. We are open to hearing other suggestions. Also, I did order some probiotics for her to see if that helps. I've heard good things. I've also heard that they don't work, so we'll see, but it's better to just try it and see if it works. So anyways, that is my breastfeeding update for you guys, and if you have any questions, leave them down below. I'm sure I'll be doing another one of these videos because things aren't 100% perfect yet, and I want to come on here and be like, things are going great, even if it's not 100% perfect. I just want to have easy feedings, and I want her to be comfortable and well rested and feel good after eating. That is the ultimate goal. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.